Good morning, friends. You are all welcome to today's topic, how to measure blood pressure. But before that, what is blood pressure? You all know that heart has got 4 chambers, 2 for collecting blood from the body and lungs, and 2 for pushing blood out from these chambers are called right ventricle and left ventricle, and the collecting chambers are called right atrium and left atrium. The blood which comes to the right ventricle is deoxygenated blood or impure blood, and the blood which comes to the left ventricle is the oxygenated blood or pure blood. When the ventricles contract, they create a force equivalent to about 90 to 120 millimeter of mercury. This force is transmitted to the entire arterial blood. This is called blood pressure. This force is called blood pressure, which normally is between 90 to 120 millimeter of mercury. To measure the blood pressure, we have different type of instruments called sphygmomanometers. The one which was handy and we have been using in the past is called aneroid type of BP apparatus, shown here in this diagram. This is the dial of the apparatus where the needle moves and you can see the level of blood pressure. This is the cup of this thing, and there is a rubber pump here for creating pressure. Now, over a period of time, this starts giving erroneous readings, and therefore it is not preferred machine for measuring blood pressure. The more reliable machine is the one I am going to show you here. This is called sphygmomanometer. Mercury sphygmomanometer, because mercury is used in this as an indicator. See in this apparatus. Now this is a reservoir which contains mercury, and this is connected through this tubing to the cuff, which is an inflatable rubber tubing. You see how it is going and getting attached to this cuff. Now when I'll just come to the measuring part of it, but before that I tell you this is another type of BP apparatus which is called electronic BP monitor. This is from a company, but there are many company marketing. I use this. Then what we have to do in that after applying the cuff, we just switch it on. We just switch it on, and from this place like this. You see? Again see? This is the monitor displaying the readings. Okay? So how we use this? We make a sling of this cuff. In fact, inflatable rubber cuff is inside this cloth. I can make it out. This is inside, and you find here marked artery. If you see here, this round point is marked ART or artery. This must come on the artery, and this tubing should be on the front side. Now to demonstrate you, I will put it on my arm, and that will also explain the reason of my unusual dress. I normally don't sit like this. I wear a suit with a necktie on, but since I was to expose my arm, I had to remove my coat and I have to sit like this. Well, that is not important, friends. See, this is the cuff gone around my arm. What is important is this. This cuff must be big enough to cover 2/3 of the circumference of the upper arm. 2/3 circumference of the upper arm. And it must be broad enough to cover the 2/3 of the length of the upper arm. See, this is covering 2/3 of this thing. Another important thing is the lower margin of this cuff must be at least 1 inch above the bed of elbow called cubital fossa. Now, after having put it in proper place, there should be no cloth between the cuff and the arm. I have seen certain doctors wearing blood pressure even with sweaters on. They, particularly in female patients, they are hesitant in asking them to expose their arms or removing the. There are many difficulties, but that we will not be discussing today. Now, when we switch on this, this will start recording the blood pressure. You see, this is pressure is going up in that. I feel it, and when it will be recorded, finally I will show you the reading also. Now it is going down. You can see the pressure is going down. And if you do not take proper precautions, there can be error like this also. Now I will again record it and show you. Now see, this is the reading of the blood pressure. The upper reading, systolic blood pressure, the lower reading, the diastolic blood pressure, and at the bottom is the pulse rate or heart rate. Now this is another type of BP monitor. Is from the same company but slightly different from this. Now I show you the standard cuff and apparatus used by most doctors. Now for this you need two things. One, stethoscope, the other BP monitor. The stethoscope consists of a metal chest piece which has got a diaphragm. This is the diaphragm and a bell, and this has got a stem to which a plastic tubing is attached which goes right up to here, then two ear tubes and then two ear knobs. We put the ear knobs in our ears and keep this diaphragm on the front of the elbow on the artery like this. Then I just try this apparatus. Now when I raise the pressure manually with this cuff, this is the difference between the automatic and this one. Here we have to manually raise the pressure in the cuff. Now I am raising. So after putting the cuff around the upper arm, we put the stethoscope here on the artery and reduce the pressure gradually in the cuff. And at point where the beats appear, we can hear the sounds. That is the systolic blood pressure. We further lower it, and the point at which the sounds disappear, that is the lower blood pressure or diastolic blood pressure. Remember friends, the diastolic blood pressure is the point where sounds disappear. in some cases these sounds do not disappear till 0. Now these are separate conditions, and there we write 3 readings: upper reading systolic, then the reading where muffling of sounds started, and third where the sounds disappeared. So in these cases we take the second reading where muffling started as the diastolic reading. So friends, this is how we measure the blood pressure. These are the different type of apparatuses. There are still others in the market coming up, and there is no problem in using them. As I said in the beginning also, that the arm should be sufficiently exposed. There should be nothing between the cuff and the arm itself. The cuff is the inflatable rubber bag which is inside the cloth I have shown you. The cloth is only for the purpose of keeping the cuff in its place. It is the rubber bag which is causing pressure on the arm. It must cover 2/3 of the circumference as well as 2/3 of the length of the arm, and it must lower edge must be 1 inch above the bend of the elbow. These are the important things which you keep in mind while recording the blood pressure. Thank you very much. We will be talking on some other topic next time.